Hello. Today, Tom and I will be presenting a podcast on the ancient Mongolian leader Genghis Khan. Was he a hero? Was he a villain? Genghis Khan is a renowned historical figure. He has left a significant legacy behind him that has helped shape our world. Genghis is best known for his significant murderous campaigns and brutal consequences, as well as his successful uniting of the Mongol tribes to create the most powerful empire of the time, and conquering countless cities and destroying everyone that stood in his way. Genghis Khan was born in 1162, close to the border dividing modern Mongolia and Siberia. His mother was kidnapped by his father and forced into marriage. Genghis Khan's parents were never very rich. His father was a minor Mongol chieftain and his mother a housewife. At that time of Genghis' birth, dozens of nomadic tribes on the Central Asian steppe were in constant conflict, and life for Genghis was violent and unpredictable. Before he turned 10, his father was poisoned by an enemy clan. Then he and his family were deserted by their own clan in order for them to save food and resources. Genghis knew what he had to do to gain power, and that was going against custom. He put competent allies rather than relatives in key positions, and executed the leaders of enemy tribes while incorporating the remaining members into his clan. Though Khan was an animist, his followers included Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists. By 1205, he had vanquished all rivals, and the following year, he called a meeting of representatives from every part of the territory and established a nation similar in size to modern Mongolia. But this did not stop him from uniting many more of the nomadic tribes of Northeast Asia. Having united the steppe tribes, Genghis Khan ruled over some 1 million people. In order to suppress the traditional causes of tribal warfare, he abolished inherited aristocratic titles. He also forbade the selling and kidnapping of women, banned the enslavement of any Mongol, and made livestock theft punishable by death. Moreover, Genghis Khan ordered the adoption of a writing system, conducted a regular census, granted diplomatic immunity to foreign ambassadors, and allowed freedom of religion. Khan's army was very brutal. They would rip children out of their mothers' bellies, use prisoners as human shields, and fill enemy moats with prisoners of war to allow siege engines to cross. Genghis Khan would massacre cities and burn them down, spreading chaos. According to historical estimates, Khan was responsible for the deaths of roughly 40 million people. This was around 10% of the world's population at that time. He was glad to boast of these numbers whenever he got the chance. He felt it was actually a good way to keep people afraid and more likely to surrender and join him. You see, despite being an incredibly brutal murderer, the Khan was not entirely without mercy. He preferred to win without a simple blow, simply by using his reputation. So, he would always give his enemies a chance to join his empire first. In some cases, he even sent multiple emissaries before he went on a rampage and massacred their civilians and everything they had ever been a part of, their culture or existence. The directive of Khan was simple: join him or die. Food and resources were becoming scarce as the population grew. In 1207, Genghis Khan led his armies against the kingdom of Zhao, and after 2 years, forced it to surrender. In 1211, Genghis Khan's armies struck the Jin dynasty in northern China, lured by the seemingly endless rice fields and easy pickings of wealth. Although the campaign against the Jin dynasty lasted nearly 20 years, Genghis Khan's armies were also active in the west against border empires and the Muslim world. Khan sent a diplomat to establish trade lines with the kingdom of Otrar. However, the diplomat was ambushed by the governor of Otrar, and his head was sent back to Genghis Khan himself. This act released a fury that would sweep through Central Asia and into Eastern Europe. In 1219, Genghis Khan personally took control of planning and executing a three-pronged attack of 200,000 Mongol soldiers against the Khwarizm dynasty. The Mongols swept through every city's fortifications with unstoppable savagery. Those who weren't immediately slaughtered were driven in front of the Mongol army, serving as human shields when the Mongol took to the next city. No living thing was spared, including small domestic animals and livestock. Skulls of men, women, and children were piled in large pyramidal mounds. City after city was brought to its knees, and eventually the Shah Muhammad and later his son were captured and killed, bringing an end to the Khwarizm dynasty in 1221. Khan later died in August 1227. The exact cause of his death remains a mystery.
It is rumoured that he was killed in action against the Western Zhao. Others lead to traces of illness, falling from his horse, or wounds stating hunting or battle.
Genghis Khan was an excellent leader who united Mongolia, brought peace to the bulk of China, gave women more rights and a more active role in society, granted diplomatic immunity to foreign ambassadors, and allowed freedom of religion. However, during Genghis Khan's conquest throughout China and Western Europe, the list of atrocities he committed far outweighs the good he did. As a direct result of his brutal murders to merciless campaigns, 40 million people lost their lives. This number is too hard to ignore, and Genghis Khan will go down in history books as one of the greatest villains the world has ever seen.